Okay, this is going to be two parts, providing nobody comes down that path right there. Some hikers. This is about connecting the leader to the fly line. Now, most leaders, pre-made leaders, come in a packet and they've got a pre-made loop. And most fly lines nowadays have got a loop on the end. And this helps you connect the leader to the fly line with ease. An idiot can do this. I can do it. Hey. So, but then you've got this lump of crap, junk I call it. You've got this junk in the system that you don't need. Really. I do away with all those loops and make the smallest knot possible for the connection here. That way it goes through the eyes easier and doesn't hang up. If you're not so good at casting and you're getting a few tailing loops, I guarantee the fly's going to catch on this connection all the time. And especially if you get a fish. When I was guiding and I had somebody and they'd loop-to-loop connections, and you've got a longer leader and you're reeling in, and you're getting the fish in close to you, the fly line's in through the tip of the rod and some of the leader. Suddenly the fish zooms off. It's a fish of a lifetime. I'm in there with the net. The client holds the rod up and the loops catch. The line goes tight and the fish gets away. Or you can dip the rod and it helps the loops go out. That's another way. But loop-to-loop connections, unless you're using a very short leader and you're after a really big fish, and the chances are it's not going to matter. So if I'm fishing for short leader for big fish or small fish, loop-to-loop's fine. But usually I'm using a longer leader, and as soon as you use a longer leader, you run into problems. So I do away with that junk. There was a company once came out with, there's always been different gadgets. Scientific Angler, for instance, didn't do the homework, brought out a little gadget that you can just click the leader into. It didn't work. I bought them, read the hype. They obviously had not done their homework or field testing. Unlike me with my flies, they're all field tested. Remember that. But anyway, it was a pile of junk. I was selling them in the shop and I threw them in the bin. They didn't work. And suddenly, Scientific Angler took it off the market after spending a lot of money marketing it and obviously designing it. But anyway, that's just one company. So the next part, I'm going to show you how to get rid of this. So I've cut the loop off the end of the fly line. There you go. Got rid of that junk. Even though they're making the loop smaller nowadays, it's still a bit of junk I don't like. And I'm taking the thin end of the leader here in a minute, and I'm going to put that thin end of the leader through a needle. I'll show you that just now. It's called the needle knot. So I'm just straightening. I've just taken this leader out of the packet. It's all coiled up. So I've just been straightening it with the heat from my hands to help straighten it. I'm then going to take this needle. Now this is a flash little gadget, but it's just a needle. And I used to have, I used to carry a needle with a thimble because I'm Scottish, and it was much cheaper than buying this thing. And I keep losing these. So I've got this one tied to a bit of pink fly line. And I've still managed to lose a few. But anyway, I'm going to insert this needle through the end of the fly line. Just a little few mil. I'm pushing it right up the center of the fly line. You can see that. And then I'm going to push it out the side of the fly line. Like so. I'm going to take the thin end of this leader, the thin end, and I'm going to put it through the eye of this needle. You see? I'm going to pull the needle out the end of the fly line. And then I don't need this little tool or needle. I'm going to put that somewhere safe, like just there. Now I've got the thin end of the leader hanging out the end of the fly line. And I'm going to pull the leader all the way down till it gets thicker and thicker and thicker until I get to the end. Okay? And I've cut the loop off the end of the fly line, the leader, because I don't need it. I'm going to take my fingers and I'm going to pinch Not tell a lie. Before I do that, I'm going to form a loop. Form a loop. Do you see it? It's quite a simple, a loop over the line. So I formed that loop, and I'm going to take the end of the leader round through the loop. So round behind the fly line and through the loop. So call the fly line the tree. The rabbit is going to run down and through around the tree and through the hole. Once, twice. I used to do it 3 times. Twice is fine. And I pull it up. See there? Now I don't want to pull it up completely tight at the moment. I'm going to slide that down. So I'm sliding it down to where the exit point is here. And I'm pulling here as well. And I'm sliding it all down. See that? Gradually getting it all down to the end. And then I'm going to hold my fingernails here so I can't pull this knot over the fly line. I'm jamming my fingernails there. I'm going to squeeze that together, that knot, squeezing it together there. A little pull with my teeth, and I'm gradually tightening it. You see that? I'm gradually making it tighter and tighter until it's as tight as possible. And I'm going to trim this really close to the end. Right down neat as, like a close shave. And there we have it. I can probably just trim that a little bit more. Sometimes you can put a bit of it, but there you go. Get rid of the junk. And then when you cast, the energy transfer down the line into the leader, out to the fly will be more perfect than having a bunch of junk there. And it's strong as. Oh. Anyway, you got to have some fun doing this. Hopefully nobody's coming. Anyway, there you go. That's the needle knot. How to get rid of the loop off the end of your fly line and the loop off your leader, and have a much better, smoother cast, energy transfer, and better. It won't hang up any flies, and it won't hang up in the eyes of your fly rod. There you go. I'll love you and leave you from Tasmania. Very dicey on this forestry road. And I've come in to see this tree, but not only that, I've come to fish the Styx River. If I can get down and into it, it's like a jungle. But there's one bridge I might be able to access it from. But this tree here is ginormous. It goes all the way up. Funny that. Oh, it's probably roots go down as well, but it goes all the way up there and even more. And it's the, I don't know if it's the world's tallest eucalyptus tree or the tallest one in Australia, but it's a giant. There's not any information, anything on it out here. I think they're on about logging this area. Surprised there's not one tourist here because it's Saturday and there's been tourists everywhere else. Mind you, I'm not surprised because the road is closed and I shouldn't be here. But anyway, I'm going to love you and leave you. There's even hut fairies in Tasmania. We've got them in New Zealand. Amazing people that give their time and money, and other people that give donations to keep these huts alive and living. It's never really good to see new wood, but it needs to be done. Maintenance, you know. Even us humans need a bit of maintenance now and then. But that's about the only bit that seems to... There's a couple, there's a new cut there. That's a new post there at the chimney. But apart from that, it's doing just fine. The sun's coming out. There's a lake down there. Hopefully there's rainbow trout in it. And I'm going to go and camp and fish, and this could be the hut, but I'm just not sure. Summer, I haven't caught a fish today or yesterday, but that doesn't matter. I've had a great time, and it's coming to the end. You know, summer, it's the last couple of days of summer here, I think, and I've managed to capture it. So you can see, if I can grab it without, oh, see if I can grab it again. Yeah, got it. You can see how, that's what the fish see. You see that silhouette, that shape, that cicada shape. The wings don't really come into this. When a fish is after something big like a cicada or a cicada, it's all about that shape. So that's why my deadly cicadas don't have wings. There's no need for them. So some flies I've taken stuff off, and some flies have added stuff. But with the cicada, I used to have wings on them, on my flies, but took them off because that is what the fish see. That there, that nugget, that lovely nugget of insect. He's delivered, and I'm about to go to somebody who I think's a legend here in Tasmania and deliver this little package to them. Copy of Out Come the Dogs. That's my last book, book number 3. He's gonna love this. He'll be able to read this during the winter. And a bunch of stuff. Trout Love sticker. STU'S Superior Fly sticker. On the best vinyl. A camel STU'S Superior Fly sticker. Look at that, sand camel. A ruler. Just a random bit of marketing, a ruler. I'm going to joke he can use it to measure his fish. Or maybe his willy. Woo! I'll just tell you a little bit about the brochure. Oh no, there's more. Forgot. There's an inside bit. So in here, there we go. This is the story of the banana fly and how to become a Grub Club member. And you can see the little blisters in the leaves, and this is a willow grub here. So I took this photo just at the back of my house, and it helped me move into Athlone, being right beside the river. There's the certificate you can get as a Grub Club member, and a little story about it, about how I designed the fly, and about the membership, how to become a member. And it's just a great bit of fun, you know. The enjoyment people got when they would catch the first fish using this tiny little fly, a fly that's the most simple fly design I've ever designed, and yet took me the longest. The enjoyment people got when they would catch the first fish using this tiny little fly, a fly that's the most simple fly design I've ever designed, and yet took me the longest. And yeah, and then we've got these photos. Oh yeah, so, and then this, in this photograph here, yeah, this is the blisters. The little grubs fall out the blisters, and this is a grub here. Now, I had a client once that went to university because he couldn't believe, he was a return client, and he used to love, we used to go grubbing all the time. So grubs, he decided they could be sort of like an LSD sort of thing inside them, making the fish crazy, that they ignore the fishermen, and you can get so close to them, and they just get possessed on these grubs. And I wish they'd have spent the money, because he got the quote from the university what it would cost to study that. And he could have been onto something. So who knows if the brown trout, when they're taking grubs, are tripping. Here of Derek's book. Derek from the Trout Diaries, he brought out three volumes. A top-selling book, great book to read. I'd introduced him to using the grub, and he just thought it was awesome. And so he got it drawn. You can see a little drawing in his book there. And I think he issued that book over 10 years ago. I gave him the grub a few years before it, so he had a few years to use it and then discover how good it was. And then because he called it the banana in the book, maybe in May, when I was taking these photographs, I got the certificate there, the book open, put some of my grubs in there beside his picture, and then stuck a banana there. Bit of a tribute to Derek. It's great fun telling people you got a box of bananas. You know, what are you catching fish on? A banana. Anyway, love you and leave you. One take it, these. Here we go. Dun, 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 dun. So Bex, especially, one of the main girls at that company, wanted to tell my story, my history, by a fly line going up round the page, and then all these little snippets of bits of my history. And again, I've not read it for years, so this is just newspaper articles here that when my gran died, she'd kept. It was amazing that she'd kept them. She must have known I was going to have a fishing shop. Who knows? There's a picture there of me. I'm actually holding a spinning rod with a big plug on it. and I've got a big tilapia or something there, because I was in Uganda and I registered a business there, Ugandan sport fish safaris. And then a hand grenade went off where I was staying. No tourists were coming, so I pulled out of that great idea. That great idea, as you do. And then it sort of goes all the way around, and yeah, it's got the bionic bug, won the gold medal. It's got you know, write-ups from Field and Stream about my flies, blah blah blah, and it comes all the way down to the new brand, the new logo. Yeah, so yeah, as it says here, lifetime of experience, and that's just a little snippet of my life. And I probably need to read that. And as I'm looking at it, say, ah yeah, there was the old logo there, Sea Superior Flies, and the new logo became that. And before this, there was a few other logos. Yeah, and yeah, that's me, my grandpa, my grandpa. I won the schoolboys championship for the 4th year in a row. In 150 years of that club or something. I'd never been won twice before. And yeah, so without being big-headed, I must have been not too bad at fishing to win it 4 times in a row. And I'd never been won twice before. And there's my grandpa, and that was the last time we fished in competitions together. He died not long after that. And he won the seniors, was it, or the pensioners? He won the pensioners or the seniors cup that year, and I won the schoolboys. So we both got our photographs taken at the AGM at the club. And you know, and those competitions sometimes, especially in the seniors and that, you know, before buses going, you're talking 160 people in those, entering those competitions sometimes. But on average, I think at least 60. Yeah, Stuart is champion. Woohoo! There you go. So that's what you get. You get all that bump, bit of marketing bump, but fun to read and look at. I love just creating stuff. I'd create more stuff like this if I had the money. But I've had to like knuckle down on a lot of things because I'm trying to do these books and they're just eating up everything. But anyway, it's all about passion. It's all about fishing. And the more people that get out there and fish, the better. And at the end of the day, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to me waffle. Hopefully you enjoyed that. I'm going to put the heater on in the car. And I'm going to deliver this book, this parcel, to this legend of a man that I know here in Tasmania. He's going to love it. Well, he better. It's free. This brochure. I actually can't remember what's in it. It's been that long. It's funny when you do stuff. Yeah, so I love taking photographs, as you can see. I've managed to get one of these big cicadas, put on the cork handle of the rod, and stick my 2 cicadas beside it. There you go. So all that stuff happens. That was in Utah. Then I open it up here, and so this is the fly catalogue, right? So this has got all my fly designs on it, and you get this. I've designed basically all these flies, you know, and now I'm telling you about it, I'm starting to realise things. There's 88 flies here, STU'S fly designs. It's quite amazing. Anyway, so we've got that. Try and simplify to help people when they're buying flies. Light wet fly, dry fly, bait fish, saltwater fly, and just a little description of what they're about. And this photo here, the Yellowstone River was flooded above Livingston, and I was reading Fly Fish Journal, The Drake, and some other magazine. I was mucking around. I was tying flies at the time because I usually have my vice net with me. I'm obviously a lot younger there. And yeah, I set this up and I took the photograph right beside the Yellowstone River when it was flooded over into a picnic area and a place where the drift boats leave from. Yeah, it's all coming back to me. And then I turned the photograph black and white, and then I used a program called GIMP, and I turned myself and some bits and pieces in the photo colourful. So yeah, that's the story behind that photograph. Oh yeah. And then when Trigger was a pup, I sat Trigger in the fly tying basket on my desk and got this photo. I took a lot of photographs, and she suddenly stuck her tongue out. How cool is that? I'm smiling. I've not looked at that photograph for a long time. Oh yeah, and there's my car. I met De Young, the artist, years and years ago, and I bought some of his prints and promoted his work in the shop, and he gave me permission to use his artwork on my car, and since then heaps of people have copied it, as they do. Anyway, so yeah, I wanted to have the first trout car, fully wrapped trout car in the world, and I did it, and it was damn sexy. Here I'm on the front of it, and I've got the rod in my mouth. It's an instructor white rod, and again I've turned the photograph black and white, and then I coloured in certain parts of it. And they chose, the girls all choose these photographs, you know. I give them a bunch and they say that we like this one. I let them run with it. It's great fun. And I thought, oh, maybe that's a bit too geeky, it's me in front again, but they know how to promote and market, and I listen to them. But anyway, I just do stuff. So I've got mud in my face there, and this photograph is all coming back to me now. I took this, actually. So out come the dogs. Out come the dogs is about me going to the Himalayas and to Kashmir trout fly fishing and the adventure, etc. And any of you that have read this will understand this. So before I wrote that book, I was in India one time, and I'm up in the Kashmir region, and I went away up to these lakes, and I had a girlfriend with me. Not a nice girlfriend, that's why she's not with me anymore. But anyway, that's another story. She's with me. We go up to these lakes. She comes with me, and it's freezing cold. It's absolutely minus. I catch a fish just on dark. It nearly freezes this little brown trout out one of the lakes. That was me happy, and it was minus God knows what that night. And as soon as we got up in the morning, frozen. The tent was frozen, took everything down and walked back out. And it's an area where thousands of pilgrims go to go to a cave and pray. So on the way back down, I found an army bunker. The guns and stuff, and there's a lot of trouble. You can't go there now. And I just made it. You know from reading Outcome of Dogs about that story. But it's an old film and program I used to watch as a kid called Dad's Army. So I jumped in the bunker. I've always wanted to do it, cover myself in mud, but I didn't have a gun to jump out with. So I put the fishing rod in my mouth and I hid in the bunker, and then I pop out like that. And we taped it, and it's on those old tapes, and I've got piles of these old tapes of me doing stupid shit. I think there's some fishing, but most of it's me larking around. And actually in that bunker, I remember there was empty shells where they'd been firing at people. So it was quite a dangerous area at the time. I'd jump out with the rod, mud in my face, and go, wah, and charge across to the camera. Just being an idiot. That's the story of that photo. Oh, so next up, part 4 will be inside this brochure. Okay, part 4. I don't do any takes. Shut up. And so part 4, so this brochure, I love how they use like, see it like wallpaper, funky wallpaper behind, and we put them all in frames. So I wanted to tell stories about the flies, similar because, you know, craft beer do it and stuff, and I realised I have got all these stories, and just like a fun story and when they were born, etc. And so it's like, there you go. So this is all about the deadly nymph, the sonic minnow, and it's a fun story, just like you read in the back. It's the back of a can of beer or whatever about these flies. It's not the full story, but it's enough. It's humorous, and obviously I got help with them, and it's been so well done, and it's just been great fun. So this is just some of the collection of my flies. Oh, and on the back, oh, on the back, There's a picture there. This is a fly. This is one of the killer minnows. So I've got deadly minnows and I've got killer minnow range, right? So, and I carried this skull with me and I went into this hut in the Upper Ariti and I went in and I shot a bunch of photographs that I knew in my head I wanted to turn black and white and then make the flies colourful. So that's where that came from. And then on this one on the back, this fly here, I'm just remembering, I won a gold medal with that fly. People's Choice Award in America. So yeah, won a gold medal. Woohoo! I'll tell you about that later because there's a funny story behind all that, me not realising that I'd won it. But anyway, a gentleman came in my shop years ago. He didn't fly fish. He's from Europe or something. And I took my time and he was just lovely. Eric's his name, from Sweden. And I explained about fly fishing to him and he bought some flies. But I couldn't remember the story. And he bought one of these. He then went home and got right into fly fishing. It's changed his life. It changed his wife's life. And as a tribute to me, as such, and a memory to him, he got the bionic bug tattooed on his skin. They go fishing in the caravan and camper van, and that's the life at weekends, and they love it. But it's just a great thing to know that I helped somebody get into some fly fishing and it changed their life, because it changed my life. Anyway, love you and leave you. Oh no. I've been asked, have I ever been to a fly fishing factory? The first one, I guess, nearly 3 decades ago, and I've been to 3. The first one I went to was total accident, an absolute accident. I was in Malawi on an expedition. We spent 9 months going through Africa on a private expedition. We're in Malawi, the truck's broke down, we're mucking around. I go up onto this place called the Zomba Plateau by myself, lone wolf as normal, to go fishing. I get lost up there in the fog at night, and it gets spooky. I cover myself in leaves trying to keep warm. I'm convinced a leopard or a hyena is stalking me. It was a nightmare. I was frozen. I was lucky. Anyway, I came back down off the mountain in the morning, sort of recovering, and during the few days I'm sort of recovering, I find this factory, I think it's Zumba in Malawi, and it's a fly tying factory. Because of fish, and I'm interested in flies, I can't remember how it works, but I bumped into someone and they took me into the factory and I got to see it, which was awesome. But it's as if I was meant to design flies, whatever, but that was just like a fluke, just an accident. Yeah, and then years later, I'm guiding a gentleman. Somehow, oh yeah, it's because he was from Africa, South Africa. I mentioned Malawi, getting lost, fishing, didn't catch him by the way, and finding this fly tying factory. Turns out his brother or some connection, he knew all about it. The first fly tying factory I went to, which was in Africa by total accident. The second one was not by accident. Dennis Black, when he was alive and he was working with Umpqua in New Zealand, and he decided to do, amazingly, I think it was 17 of my fly designs all at once. He'd never done that before, and so it was an honour for me to be recognised. And I went to Chiang Mai, northern Thailand. I had to pay for it, typical. And stayed there for like a week, got to meet all these amazing people. Went into the factories were so clean. And the government there is very strict, so the pay is really good, so people want to do it. Showing them how to tie it, and they're all Owen and Ian and Anne, and a few of them can speak English. And then this woman, who's the expert at tying royal wolves or something, you know, she's the queen of dry flies. She's the fastest, you know, everything. So she sits down and she goes and ties the fly that took me 10 minutes to tie. She ties it in under 5 minutes. And I've got to inspect it. So I pick it up, I look at it. It was perfect. It was actually better than mine. So I picked up mine, I got hers, turned round to them all, I got mine and threw it in the bin. And they were just, it was hilarious. They just thought it was the best thing. So the third factory I went to, so what happened is Uncle in New Zealand, Dennis Black, he passed away and his business folded. So my designs were no longer available to me and for sale in the shops. I think I had the fly shop by then. I just started STU'S fly shop, blah, blah, blah. I sent all these designs to a company in America, the fourth biggest company. They're huge. Turns out they've got a factory in Chiang Mai. Oh, I think I know what it was. Produced a DVD called Foam Odyssey about using foam for tying flies. That's what happened. The son of the people who owned this factory saw it and got a hold of me and says, we want to produce your flies, royalty tire. And that's when I became the first person outside of the US. I think I had the fly shop by then. I just started STU'S fly shop, blah, 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 to fly to their factory, pay for it again myself. And I went and I stayed for 2 weeks or something and I showed them how to tie my flies, etc. Because there's no machine can do it. The person that makes a machine that can tie flies is gonna be a multi-millionaire. There's so many ways and techniques to tie flies. I think the first check I got, I think I've got it and I can frame it. It's maybe for $1. And it was from that, and having no control over my designs. My name was on it and the perfectionist I am and the quality I wanted. Years of back and forth and things not going right. And actually, STU'S Superior flies are here today. It's not going away. And if anything, they're getting better and better and better. They were good at the start. And yeah,